It's the red one.
It should make a deep.
Don't touch the red one.
And the counter should be counted in the.
Well, the red button's blinking now, and it's counted.
We're on.
Good.
No, it was,
Slide down on the left side.
Yeah.
It'll just slide down enough and then look at it.
all of that. All right, now we got red.
Yeah, here you go.
Well, I got little things. That's that. Okay, good. All right. Time being 5:37, I'd like to call to order the January 5th meeting of the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Commissioners meeting. Let the record show that Commissioner Ozier is absent today. Also present is Chief Setar, Deputy Joubert, and one member of the public, Kevin Wolf. All right. Public comment from members of the district, employees of the district.
You should post your agendas online so I can see before I get here what's being talked about, because I have no idea.
Question to you. There was an email we received from the public, a member of the public that had a question about the shoveling of the hydrants and stuff.
Yes.
And he had concerns about having crews out there with the ambulance and possibly being hit, and I just thought we should bring it up publicly and address the matter, because totally agree with an engine with two people and a ambulance with two people out there shoveling. First off, the vehicle protects them when they're shoveling with the onward, and if they have to respond to a call rather than having to run back to the station with a pickup to then get the vehicle is going to be detrimental in time response. Recognize that the resident had a valid concern, but I wanted to bring his concern up here for the record and all that, and the reason that your policy, I believe, and that's why you're doing it, but unless you have a different reason.
Nope, I explained all that to him in a couple of back and forth emails.
Okay.
And after I explained it to him, no, he didn't sense it. Okay,
Yep.
whatever.
Just in case anyone else from the public has a similar concern, yeah, we do have an older ambulance out there doing it, but the time it would take to run back to the station or to have one crew only out shoveling, I think it was important to just bring up in for the public knowledge.
Sure.
I think it just depends on what ambulance is in cycle.
Right.
Just like it would be what engine was in cycle at that
Yep.
time.
Okay.
All right. Any other correspondence that we had? I don't recall.
That's the only one I thought I saw.
We haven't had any snow to. We don't have to worry about it.
I'll follow up on that one.
All right.
Agenda.
Chief's report.
So I emailed you the chief's report. Had a couple days to look at it. I wanted to know if you had any questions.
The overall report.
Obviously, not all the 2021 bills are.
That's
Right.
correct. The books are not closed yet on 2021.
Of course, looking at it online and then looking at it in print is two different things.
Yep. Things I noticed that just wanted to say out loud is Entity went in service on Christmas Day.
Good.
I saw that we started responding to calls with it on the 27th finally, so the other one's over
Well,
sitting in the bay.
We
or-
had to fix the CAD thing and software to make it
Okay.
look like it was responding to calls. It just says engine moving. One, I think it said,
Oh, okay.
which was inaccurate.
Okay. I did see that. So that was one thing. You want to address the COVID out loud so the public knows in case they go over?
Okay, so the fire department itself is operating under the revised state COVID EMS protocols. The fire station's locked to the public right now. We have entry protocols in place. Employees who have not received the booster must wear a mask in the station and in the vehicles. And again, we're applying for a COVID equipment grant through the state in collaboration with the town of Tilton, with the town of Northfield, and we're trying to acquire 2 ventilators and 2 UV disinfectant lights. And in fact, we submitted the application from Northfield today. And I'll be sitting with Town Administrator Jeannie Forrester on Friday to do that, Tilton's one.
Okay, so Northfield's helping out with that.
Yes.
Appreciate the selectmen in Northfield for contributing to that process.
Happy to do so.
question to you, but probably can you explain a little bit better the protocol for the public if they have to go there for a fire permit or anything like that?
So they have to ring the doorbell, somebody will come down and meet them at the door and ask them specific questions to, you know, what they need and stuff like that.
So if they're getting,
If there's somebody there.
yeah, if they're getting a permit, are they gonna go inside or do they wait outside for a permit?
It depends upon what type of permit. If we need copies of licenses and stuff like that, and they have to step inside, that's when they go through
The
the
whole
process.
We do have a process too, where there's a box on the outside of the building that has all the permit applications for them, and they just fill them out and put it back into the box, and we check them on a regular basis.
Excellent.
What's the turnaround on it, like 24 hours usually?
Yeah, and we have the ability to actually invoice those people, so there doesn't need to be any exchanges at all, so it works out pretty well.
Yeah, send them a bill.
Me? No, I actually, the reports, the inspectors, I like the new
Yeah.
format.
I did too. The repeater, I had a question on. So you having discussions of possibility of collaborating with Tilton PD, Lake Street Mutual Fire Aid to add a receiver to the fire department system. Is this the one up on Shed Road or for when the new tower comes in?
So the receivers, it's actually 3 receivers. Lakes Region receiver, a Tilton Northfield Fire receiver, and a Tilton PD receiver. And those receivers will be located on Pleasant Street in Franklin, at the Pleasant Street Water Tower. And a microwave link from that tower to the Shed Road facility. The Tilton Police PD moved their repeater system from Belknap Mountain to the Shed Road tower. And so that's up and running currently. And this would just improve the coverage, and as I talked to you before, our coverage in portions of Northfield are very poor, and so this will cure that problem. And I applied this through a state grant where there is actually no match. If we get the grant, they cover the whole cost of the installation. And it's a collaborative project with 3 separate organizations that would actually benefit even more organizations, because other folks could use those receivers as well.
So cost-wise, we're not gonna do anything until answer from the grant?
That's correct.
Okay, so if the grant falls through,
Nothing happens.
we're not gonna do it?
No.
Okay, all right, because that's why I remember we talked about cost.
Right.
So if you could do a grant only, we would do it, or no cost to the district.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That was the only 2 that stood out to me when I went through the report. Overall, the report was pretty good. I did see that, I don't know if you guys are giving yourselves enough credit. The C1 and C3 really didn't do a lot of responding, and I think that's probably once again, please, if you're doing responding, have them annotate it.
So I don't have a chance to go through every single report, but then when I look at it over the course, you know, at the end of the month, I look at it and say, well, I know I went to that call, and I'm not listening.
Yep.
I'll-
I saw
You'll
one.
notice
I saw one pending, which I
wrote one
respect.
in,
I respect
but
that.
It's,
But you have 4 captains who are more than capable of putting the credit down. If they're doing the fire report and all that, please put that down, because that is a question that could come up.
yeah, I know.
So documentation, just like you know. So once again, please. That was one area I did have a concern with, because I went through and highlighted, and I know you go to more. Your car barely got it, whether you had a car or not. I mean, and that's why I do base it upon is the responding apparatus. For all I know, you could be in the ambulance or things like that, but
So a lot of times, we don't sign on the air, either one of us, we just show up, help out, do whatever we need to do, and leave without saying anything. And if sometimes we don't say anything, it doesn't get recorded at Lakes Region, and then it doesn't get recorded in the notes or anything.
but if your
like that.
captain's there and he saw
Yeah,
you,
I know, I've had the conversation.
well, just let them know that the commissioners are watching you and the public's probably watching this too. So it could be beneficial to everything they do to give that documentation.
Understood.
What about if it was a second call, maybe the engine was out for the fire, and the medical call came in, and the 2 of you respond in A1 or A2.
We wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know it by
You wouldn't know
looking
it,
at
but
this.
you wouldn't know it, but you're not responding as C1 or C3, you're responding as A1 or A2.
Right.
So
So-
there are those incidents.
Yes, it's not 100%, but at least showing a little bit better attention to detail, and that would help out come meeting
Like
times.
Today, Deputy Joubert responded to a call on engine 3, and you're not gonna find that.
Exactly, and I know that,
So-
but unless you're gonna do a personnel report, this is something that just comes up, and the fact that car 3 is in question and things like that. These are the source documents that help support all that.
Understand.
I saw, I drove by a call last week and C3 was there.
Yeah.
And I see it right here. So.
Yeah, and I know you guys are out on the road more than that, it's just, it's not documented, it didn't happen, just like EMS.
Happened to be driving by because I was heading to 93 and the first left turn is not helpful.
I preached on that enough, just, please, please, please.
The other thing I would like to say is that you'll notice that the reports are in a different format.
Yes.
I'm still trying to tweak them. I had a conversation with Commissioner Pyra earlier this week about that, and we'll be making some more adjustments as I learn the system more.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was pretty good, because I looked at the report and they spelled out the inspections a lot easier. The dual call, it really didn't spell out I mean, luckily your report covered about the ambulance coverage and the transport. I mean, we lost transport on 5, but it's the nature of the beast.
Right.
I think somewhere down there, I don't know if you can do like, if this system would allow like personnel incident count for the month. It might be able to do that where you can pull down by a roster by their ID number.
I'll have to learn that.
Yep,
It
right.
probably can. It's just
I know
a-
that Tempsys used to and all that stuff because people could keep track in, or Firehouse, or one of the past softwares of the day, because you could actually see the call numbers. of
Firehouse
people.
used to be able to.
Okay, maybe it
I'm
was
sure
that
you
one,
would pull up an activity log for that one individual or
Right.
whatever it is.
because you need the accountability. If for some reason there was a bad scene there, you wouldn't, unless you're gonna go back to
Yeah,
paper
so every
records.
single report has the accountability of who's on scene and stuff like that, so it has to be a way of pulling that out into a
Correct.
separate report. I just have to learn how to do it.
Yep. I'm sorry.
No, so on the overlapping, we
Yes.
received 6, 5, does that mean 5 other people other departments transported?
Yes,
Okay, now we responded to 5, and how many of those 5 did we transport?
5. So it's a wash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where, and there's gonna be times like that where we're.
No, I'm
busy
just
and not.
curious, like, okay, that
3
seems-
of those transports was that mass casualty we had in front of the Winnisquam.
Mosquito bridge.
Mosquito
Oh,
Bridge.
yes, yeah, that one.
So we had 5 transports out of that accident. 2 of them were in our 2 ambulances, and the other 3, well, we need to
Yeah,
use
exactly.
others.
Yep. Okay. I'm good with this.
Yeah, that's good.
I appreciate that.
And E3 is going out next week to be repaired?
Is it next week?
They're waiting for.
They're waiting for
for
parts. So as soon as they let us know the parts are
So,
back in
never.
stock, it's going.
They have most of the parts, they're just waiting for a specific part for the siren.
So we're down to 1 engine.
No, we have 2 engines.
We have 2 engines right now.
So engine 3 can respond, but
Yes.
it still has an audible alarm
Yeah,
system
the
besides the
mechanical
siren.
sirens, the cues out of
Yeah,
service,
okay.
the-
So you have a secondary means, so you have the lights and.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's a major.
Budget side of things.
So, going back to the budget, just real quick. When the dust settles on the year end, other than I know legal is way over.
Yeah,
And-
legal, Center Street Station is way over, but all in all, the Center Street Station hit us early in the year,
That was
so
the
I,
furnace,
so I
right?
started,
Yes.
I put the clamps on a bunch of stuff right away, and we're gonna be just fine, we're gonna have a decent surplus.
Did we add something to Center Street Station electrical? Because that, you've budgeted for a certain amount and we're over by, page 1, 410 electrical, I mean, we budgeted for 5,500 and we came out at 6128. So did we install a new dryer system or something like that that consumes so much more, or you guys just wanted to leave the lights on all day?
Extractor, dryer.
Those have been in for a few years now.
Yeah.
No, we haven't really done anything.
The rate, I don't know.
Could you look into that for
Yeah.
down the road? That's something I stood out because I kind of went through anything that was over 100% to see where it was.
Yeah.
That came in at 111%, but when I looked over there, I mean, it's 1,100 more than, or I'm sorry, 600 more than what we budgeted, and it's like, I was just a little shocked. So if we could look into that, and I just didn't know what we could have added in there that's sucking it in. If we have electric space heaters or something, or but
No.
we should have had them forecasted. It was an anomaly.
Yeah, 6112 is what we spent,
Yeah.
and appropriated 5,500. For next year, the budget committee's recommendation is 57, which doesn't match the commissioner's recommendation. It matches my recommendation.
Okay.
This is you have to remember, I put this budget together. I start in July and August, and a lot of these numbers are from then, and
But
I don't catch a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
until the end of the year.
it
so.
should be something historical, and just curious, I mean, maybe they adjusted our rates or something like that, so if you could just take a peek at that.
Yep.
That one stood out. All the others that were over by a little bit, the generator was servicing, but that was like 164 instead of 100. A lot of small things. Wages, well, with overtime, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Unfortunately. Water rescue equipment, you had to do some repairs, but that was minor costs.
Right, we ended up repairing instead of buying.
Okay. And with that, for the water gear, I know the patches and stuff, what's the lifespan of patch suits, is a good way of putting it.
There's no guarantee. We have suits that have been patched that are 8 years old
Okay.
and have no problems. We have suits that are patched and
2 years old.
2 years old and they're leaking. So it's
But yeah, 227 is a lot better than probably like $1,000 is my guess for a good suit or something.
Yeah, in that ballpark area.
Okay. EMS equipment, well, COVID, we burnt through that, just with our year-end closeout of stuff. Fire alarm service test, that went up. It was supposed to be 1332 and went up to 1511. Did it rate increase on the labor?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought that was a contract.
That we had a contract for the previous year, and we just let it ride for this year,
Okay.
and their rates went up.
Okay. The land on page 4, we did the 5,000 for the property, and then we had 1462. Was that where we had to do the surveying or adjustments and all that?
Yes.
Okay, so that equaled out that. It's just nice to have the end of the year closeout stuff. And the apparatus and equipment, vehicle equipment, we doubled that one. Sure, and safety equipment, and we doubled safety equipment, but it was on it.
A lot of that safety equipment turned out to be COVID related.
And PPI and stuff. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I did a scrub of the stuff where it was in here, and that's the stuff that stood up to me that I just want to make sure I looked at. But other than that, we executed less than 100% of the budget, so we saved money there. Yeah. I just saw a couple of those things, and like I said, the electrical, just so we can plan accordingly, because if we have something that's gonna be sucking more electrical, we
Now,
need to
see-
catch it earlier rather than later for the
Yeah.
budget season.
So, I don't think we'll be changing the budget now, what the budget committee's finished the budget other than warrant
Okay.
articles. So, I'll just have to make sure that,
Yeah. Just curious usually you were much more on par with everything else with those type of things, and so that one really stood out. I didn't know if like a piece of equipment or a new dryer or something like
I don't
that.
think of anything.
Alright, I'll stop nitpicking. I've done my share.
I didn't have as many nitpicks as you did, but you covered some of the ones I had, so.
Okay, sorry. Next time I'll let you have your chance.
No, it's good, man. I'm all talked out today. So. I've been yelled at, screamed at.
You have a question from the public, I think.
You overspent the apparatus for equipment fund budget?
Not overall.
Just a line.
One line. One line went over, but it's under on everything else.
That's warrant article money, isn't it?
That's, it's a bottom line budget that's voted at the district meeting.
The
So-
apparatus equipment fund
Yes.
So it was vehicle equipment,
can only be spent by warrant article.
it was within the budget.
We're within the budget. It's a number. It doesn't, when I develop the budget, I develop a line item budget to get to that number. The number is what's voted at the district meeting. I stay below that, you know, I don't overexpend that number. Okay.
So it would be
We're
line
pretty much well under.
740, 210.
But the money from the apparatus equipment fund
Right.
is for specific items only.
Yes,
And it's
for equipment.
It's the amount you are, the warrant article's approved for, out of that fund is the most you can spend out of that fund.
So out of that fund was $50,000. The total spent so far was 29.
Oh, I thought I just heard you say you
Just
did.
one
one
particular
line,
item.
one line,
Particular
not
line
the
item.
overall
Okay.
category. Yes, that's what we were trying to explain.
All right.
So say I budgeted $100 for gloves, but I spent 200.
Yep.
That's,
You
that
didn't go
line
over-
item is over.
You didn't go over the total amount that was
No,
approved in the warrant
correct.
article.
Not by a long shot.
Okay. See that in my ears, John, I told you my
No
ears.
problem. That's why I'm glad you asked the question, because I'm sure other people, when they listen in, might think the same thing. So, it saves on the media.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, that's fine. I kinda like this Wednesday night thing, by the way.
Oh, it is Wednesday, isn't it?
It is. Don't
Oh,
encourage
that's
him.
even better.
But only till midnight.
No, I came down here thinking it was Tuesday.
Hump day.
Yeah, just coming down, you know. Because I was confused as what time I had to leave work today, like, which meeting am I going to? I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, choir meeting. Leave a few minutes before 5. All right.
All right.
We're on to old business, warrant articles.
So you have a copy of the draft warrant articles in front of you. We should probably go through them all to make sure, that anything that's in yellow needs to, we have to decide to put a number in there? Or you have to decide to put a number in there?
So currently, we do not have a clerk, correct? She
No,
did.
we do have a clerk currently.
The term is up.
The steady girl,
Yeah.
I forget the daughter's name.
That's Edie's daughter.
It's Mary.
She's
Yeah.
a clerk for the ensuing 2 years.
So her term, term is coming up.
I don't know.
All right. I thought she stepped down.
I don't keep track of that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Wasn't Stephanie it, and then she stepped down, but then she-
Stephanie did not go for re-election.
Right.
Just the girl that was appointed.
Miss Steady. I don't
Yes,
forget her first name.
Miss Steady was appointed, and I believe it's for the term,
Okay.
2 years,
Okay.
or is it 3 years?
2,
2 years. So she's
Appointments,
1 year.
the next election.
Yeah, to the next
next
election.
election.
Okay.
So this
So,
would be-
so that's the reason why it's on here then.
It seems so long ago, but
Yeah.
Although that may be for resignation.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a resignation, she didn't run again. Stephanie didn't run.
She,
The term, you appoint some,
I think,
I should know this because
This-
we did it.
I believe she may have gotten a vote or two in the general election.
Oh,
Well, if that's the case, because
that would matter.
this would be her first one, she was seated with us.
Yeah,
Because Stephanie was seated with us at the last meeting.
correct.
So that's what I'm getting at. And I thought that Kathy said that she stepped down.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
so
If she did, I'm unaware of it.
So Catherine, since you're gonna be listening to these minutes, can you please find out if the clerk was appointed or elected? We're not sure, and if you could recollect our memory, that would be most appreciated.
Yes. Moderator, that's the standard.
Yeah.
Reports of the commissioners.
Just,
Add to the land and building fund. So is that something, how soon do we have to lock in numbers?
So it would be, behoove you to lock in the numbers tonight because the budget committee has to meet and review them as well. And once you guys go over this tonight, Kathy's gonna set up a meeting with the budget committee.
Okay, and then we'll do a public hearing where we go over them
Then
all.
together we'll be doing a public hearing and I forget the date, 9th? February 9th, I think.
I don't have that program again.
This says 2022 for Cameron Steady
So that would,
for the clerk.
I don't have it on my,
okay,
I don't have it on my calendar.
yeah, so we need to put that.
No, but the public hearing for the budget committee is on the 4th, it's a Friday night.
2-4?
2/4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have 5 p.m., but that could be wrong.
And where? Upstairs?
I think it's upstairs, yeah.
I don't have a location.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kathy will send out
Yep.
a calendar.
Okay.
Because I'm out of town 2 days before.
Yeah. Do we know how much is in the land and building fund currently?
Currently, I didn't print that up, but
Is it in here?
it's not in there.
That would be a separate fund then.
I'd have to open up QuickBooks and go.
I didn't build it for 100, oh, we put in 100,000.
We put in 100,000 usually every year, and we're at around I don't know the exact number, but it's around the $500,000 right now.
So about 500. Okay.
Yes.
And in the past, we put 100 in, is what?
The past couple of years.
There was one year we put 50 in.
So is this land and building fund, this is one that continues with, this is not the one we're using for engineer fees?
No, that's a separate.
Okay,
No, this is land.
So that's a non-lapsing warrant article.
all right.
In 2020, we put in 50.
Okay.
2021, we put in 100, and in 2019, we put in 100.
So, I mean, it's gonna be the 50, I'm willing to bet, was down on the floor.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't either. I would make a motion at this time that we add 100,000 to the land and building fund. Previously established.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
No, I mean, if at least we have a sum in there. If the budget committee thinks differently, at least they have something they can work with. They can choose to add their input, as well as we can discuss at the public meeting, but at least we have something moving forward rather than hold the process up.
Sure. So the warrant articles belong to the commissioners. The budget committee will take the commissioner's warrant article, and either they can approve it or not approve,
Yep.
vote to recommend it or vote not to recommend
Correct.
it.
Yep.
The number won't change in the budget committee. It could be changed on the.
It can be changed on the floor
amended on the
appropriately.
floor, though.
But I think by putting that in, knowing that there's a potential station project coming up, it's putting more capital towards it, so less financing on the back end of it.
That's correct.
So I think that it just goes towards our process, and it can be adjusted as needed, but at least it keeps the process going.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
I do not.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Motion passes.
Okay. At least keeps it going.
Do we have to decide if we recommend it, or is our vote?
Nope, that's part of the public,
Well, since this article is or is not recommended by the Board of Commissioners.
that's after the public hearing, that is when we usually do that, the public hearing, and then we vote on it as individually, I thought. I know that's how the school does it. Is they have a public hearing, they discuss it, and then we break out into separate rooms and vote.
My recollection is here is that the commissioners vote separately, the budget committee will vote separately,
Yep.
and then the hearing is done just to go over it. I don't think any actual votes are taken at the public hearing.
No votes are taken.
Okay.
So,
At
so
this time, I'm not comfortable voting in favor or not with one member missing. I think it should be a full representation of the board when we do it.
All right, I agree with that.
So that one we'll just have to table for now, even if we have to do a special or something before the 4th, but I just don't think it's appropriate to not have full representation on this part.
Get Paul's input.
Yeah. For the second half of it anyways.
So we won't decide on Article 6. The amount is in there, but we don't.
I would not feel comfortable doing it unless we had all three.
Let's see what else is there. I'm going to page 2.
Okay.
I'm looking for amounts.
Yep,
Article 8 is just,
that's the calculate.
13, that'd be the next one.
oh, 13 is the next one. Pressurized hydrants, oh boy. I just poked my pen right in that hornet's nest right now.
As we have not heard anything from the hydrant district in any way, shape, or form with this,
I'm not comfortable putting an amount in there quite yet until we have a little more. We have to take care of last year.
right,
Take care of last year before we can take care of this year.
I would put $1 in there for now, just, it could always be amended on the floor if the commissioners.
only down, not up. If you put $1 in, you can't amend the,
Oh, no, is it, or it can only be amended by a certain percentage, I thought.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
So if you put $1 in, you can't change it to 124,000 if you're gonna do that, that's.
Only 124,000%.
Well, there should be, I think there should be something there in case the commissioners, the water commissioners and the fire commissioners come to some type of terms or an agreement. I mean, it's a quagmire right now, and I really don't, I'm just trying to leave options, not really making any decisions, because really, I mean, the water district, the water commissioners made, for last year, had an offer, you guys did a counter offer, and we haven't heard anything since then, so.
Yeah.
And there's been no negotiations going forward.
I think my 2 cents is a safety catch is probably 125. I know it's not their 175 or higher they want, but it gets a sizable pot of money on there since they, for going forward, and potentially maybe, because to the rears there should be eventually when they get figured out, because we did consume, I think we were roughly 55,000 gallons of water this year, roughly for that one fire.
No, 5,500,
5,500, okay. So
maybe.
But for the year, it was like 50,000, I thought we estimated.
With all the tanker fills and stuff like that, yeah, maybe.
But then the year before, you had the fire over at Chalpasta, and you guys used 1 million gallons, so.
So it was a nice, easy year that we got through last year, luckily with everything going on. But I think we still will owe to the rears, at least for that consumed water, which is a fair expense. The problem is now we're crossing fiscal lines where that money comes from. I don't know if we can pay to the rears. This is going to be more legal money we have to pay out.
I think
Probably 30,000.
if there isn't money in the budget to pay for arrears, we would have to go to DRA to ask if we could go use the unassigned fund balance to pay that. Other than that, we could also have a special district
Right.
meeting to raise and appropriate, and then it would.
If
that
it was
bond-
approved,
that's-
correct.
And that's probably the avenue that
That's what the court wants us on right
That's what
now.
the court wants us to do.
Right, which we have submitted, and that's the next thing.
Yeah.
My 2 cents, I think, for 125. I know it's where it's up there, but it's not fully up there, but I don't want to. We need to have some talking with the water district before we can do much more. At least it's getting something up there.
Well,
What's your thought?
not for 125, so that would be,
Well, they wanted a lot more.
well, I was gonna go a little less.
It's $22 a gallon.
The 5,500 that we used, and
$22 a gallon.
It was damn good H2O. Straight from the lake. But you go back to the year before, and just for one fire, they used
we
to
consumed over 1 million.
We didn't, no, we went anywhere.
I don't think you dumped 1 million gallons of
No,
water
there was about-
without chow pasta.
Maybe, according to my conversations with John, probably 150. From the, going by the tank level.
The measuring, so
Yes.
about 150,000.
150, maybe 200,000
Okay.
max.
Yeah, so this is where something needs to be worked out with the plans and all that stuff, but that's waiting on the water commissioners to figure that part out. What are you thinking, 100?
I was thinking 75.
Okay.
I mean,
We offered that to them this year, and I'm all in
that's
favor.
what- and that was my offer, and that's gonna be my standing offer.
I'm in
Until-
favor of that.
Until I get something, I have a hard time doing $1.
Okay.
But
No, I like,
That's $13 a gallon. You're talking about water. $13. You want to buy water from me for $13 a gallon?
I don't, but it's really, and the taxpayers can definitely agree or disagree. There's just, and I support their vote. Whatever they vote is what I will go with.
But we had we had another fire that year up on Bean Hill Road, and I don't know what the gallons used there was,
Well,
but
I think the reality is you're gonna have years where you have a lot of
Right,
fires,
that's
and
the
use a
thing.
lot of water, and other years
Exactly.
you're gonna have.
this year was a particularly
It
good year.
averages out.
Right.
The one on Bean Hill Road was expensive for the water district because
With the water hammer.
the water hammer that was created and broke the pipe in a couple
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
But that's, a lot of that's due to aging infrastructure on the water
Mhm.
district side and not
Right.
maintaining that. That's my personal feeling. I'd say.
Nope, I'm not agreeing, and not disagreeing with you. I'm fine with the 75. I'm fine with you putting $1 there.
I mean, I'd like to get Paul's input too.
Right.
I mean, he may say $1, he may say 75,000, not $75.
Okay, so we would have to schedule a special meeting before the 4th.
Yeah.
We can table that for now if you want.
Yeah, I'd table it.
When is the
This is
budget
supposed,
committee?
this is supposed to go to DRA
All right.
By when?
Friday for peer review.
Before the budget committee sees it?
Yeah,
Okay.
All right,
So
because it's your warrant articles, not
yeah.
okay.
the budget committees.
All right.
So, that being the case, we'll need to put something in there for that.
Yep.
Whether or not we do the is or is not recommended, that can wait, but,
Yeah.
DRA is going to look more for wording than
Right.
money. So if it's, no matter what it's got, if it has no money, it's not going to make a difference to them.
Has this been down there once for wording already? I know that's always everyone says, oh, they're putting it down for wording, and then,
I'm not sure, I can't remember.
so if you want for this time, put $1 in there. Until the public hearing, I think we can adjust it, I think at the public
can
hearing.
we adjust it after DRA reviews it?
I think so. Yeah, it's at the public hearing when we vote on it is when we lock in the dollar, because the budget can fluctuate up or down based on that public hearing. Yes,
That's correct.
yeah, so you can put $1 in and then,
All right, then I will put $1
And I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 There we go.
Opposed? None. Motion passes.
Aye.
So $1.
So, and then the public hearing, we'll discuss it.
There's no other dollar amounts in there. Yeah. There's dollar amounts in there, but 162.
Operating, the budget committee came out currently at $2,817,902. And so you actually gave us this.
Yes.
I was about to ask you a question where I could just look for myself to see where you started, where we ended, and where the budget kind of
That'll
fell.
be on page 10.
10? Okay. Just curious to see how we all came out. That's it.
Oh, page 1 too. That's total revenue, sorry.
Okay. So it's at the top of page 10? operating
Yes,
total. Okay.
operating budget
All
total.
right. So the chief started it with 2,861,000. We brought it down to 2,817,000. And you guys, the budget committee came right in alignment with what we did, it looked like.
There's some minor differences on different line items between the budget committee and the commissioners and
Yeah.
stuff, but in the end, it was basically the same.
Okay. So there's not a lot of hate and discontent going on at the moment, maybe? All right, so, that's all.
$350.
But, no, that's actually not bad. Okay. Good.
I actually have a question
Oh,
for
shoot.
my own knowledge. As far as the order that the warrant articles
Mhm.
are presented in, is that standard, or do the commissioners have the ability to?
We can move them around, but like the first three are usually standard,
Okay.
those position ones. And then from there, you can move them around. So you could put the budget the very first thing if you wanted to do, but the problem with that is if something adjusts.
Hold on, Larry, I
later
was
on, then-
curious.
Yeah,
And once they go to DRA, they have this numbering, and this what, and it's finally approved, that's what that is there, correct? Like number 1, number 2, number 3.
We can
Is
still
that
No,
in
you
order?
can vote to change the order at district
At
meeting
this meeting.
by a vote of the body.
we could reorder, yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Did you have an area of concern?
No, I was just curious for my own knowledge, that's all.
Oh, okay. Didn't know if there was something you had a suggestion of.
You know, sometimes if there was
A hot topic item.
a hot topic item,
Correct.
someone may vote to move that
Right.
in front of the other when there's more people there. Which means that by the time you get to the end, there's, 20 people left in the meeting.
Got to get the fair representation.
Well, that's what happened with the order last year. What was the vote? Like 28 or 29 total people.
It was like 19 to 18 or something
Yeah,
like that.
17, yeah, it was crazy. Less than 30 people.
Yep.
Or less than 30 votes.
Yeah, we're paying the price for it still. All right. You good with that one?
I'm good with that one. Let's see.
Water district, our favorite topic.
Oh, yeah. Water district is up.
So there's not much to update. As you know, and this is, I just kind of discussed this earlier, you received a offer from the water district.
Mhm.
The commissioners met and proposed a counter offer, which was sent off to them and the water district, and we haven't heard from them since. The only other thing was that there was supposed to be a meeting to set the terms for going to court,
Mediation. Okay.
not mediation, terms for trial, but both attorneys agreed to postpone that for whatever reason. It was, one attorney asked the other attorney, said, I'm not ready for this, I'm not, and I actually went online to view the thing and nothing was happening, and so I ended up calling our attorney, oh yeah, we postponed that.
Well, it's nice to let them know.
Yeah, so, that's as
And I'm
much as
sure it's
I
gonna
know.
slow down even more with the fact that they're not doing really anything in person at the courts right now.
Yeah, everything's online now.
So I know that where it ended up for the fire district's responsibility is that we are still supposed to we were supposed to submit an amount to the court to approve so we could have a special meeting to ask the public to pay it.
That was setting the terms for trial.
That's what you're talking about, okay?
That's what we were talking about, but that's been postponed to
Okay.
a date that I don't even know of yet.
So that was that part to set for what we needed to start
To-
prep for the special meeting.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. So yeah, probably in about 5 years we'll go back and address this.
You know,
All right. And the only other thing in the old business is we didn't add it, station, but the station committee did not meet, like this.
Next
Well,
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday,
Next
yeah,
Wednesday.
we did not meet last Wednesday before Christmas, or the last period before Christmas. We had put an RFOs out to people, the chair was reaching out to them, and we were talking about having, I forget his name.
Alan Clark.
I saw some email conversation that he might be able to make our next
He
meeting
is
next
going
week.
to make it,
Okay,
yeah.
so he'll be able to make our meeting next week, so, but there is nothing to bring from the station per se here, but until next week, after next week.
all right. Yeah, I would like something about, Eden's gonna make your next meeting.
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Alan
Alan Clark.
Clark.
That was going a week from now, today's the 5th, so that would be the 12th.
That's correct.
Okay. I got nothing for new business.
No, I have nothing for new business either. Review the minutes of December 9th. Yeah, read them online. And I did not see anything.
I did not read them online. Could I request we table them so Paul would be able to inject too, and I could actually catch up?
Until the next meeting.
Sorry about that, my failure.
Okay. Do we have manifest to sign?
I signed it.
Okay.
And
That
February meeting.
February meeting, well, we're probably gonna have to have a meeting towards the end of this month to go over the final warrant
Or you could meet February
first.
You
1st
could
or
meet-
2nd.
I'm out of town the 2nd,
How dare you?
I know.
You could also meet before the public hearing to just make a determination as well,
Yep.
Yes.
if you so chose.
Yes, we could. That is an option as well.
Well, do we wanna set our meeting for the 8th? Or the 9th?
Right now, we are scheduled for the 8th, or I have my reoccurring for the 8th.
Okay.
And then the fire station building committee would be the 9th and the 23rd. Yeah, I mean, you have some Tuesdays, the 8th is,
The 8th?
are you gonna be around the 1st?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here the 1st, but I don't know if that's the 1st of the month, I don't know how easy it is for them to get everything done.
Well, no, the commissioner meeting's still on the 8th, I'm saying the
Oh.
first to
Oh.
meet prior to,
Oh, for
Paul's input and things like that.
yeah, we can do that.
And I'd have station feedback by there as well, because we would have a station meeting.
Yeah, our regular meeting,
Is
the
the 8th.
regular commission meeting is the 8th, I think.
Correct,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
one you can go over all the reports, but the stuff to prep for the public information, you could do on the 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, all you need is this.
Right, but it's just, let's sit down and, hey, if it's a 15-minute meeting, I'm happy with that. So the 1st?
Yeah, the only thing that would throw me off is the weather forecast, but we'll come to that bridge later.
Yeah.
Because I have to drive down to Newport, Rhode Island on the 2nd. And I'm gonna go down on the 1st if the weather on the 2nd is gonna be bad.
Wow. I would say tentatively put it in,
Yeah, I
and if
did.
we have to cancel it, then we'll do it at the beginning of
I
the
did.
5th.
I did.
Okay. Okay. 2, 5. All right.
All right,
And then the regular meeting is on the 8th.
Yes.
correct.
Yep.
That's it?
All right.
So, for public, we did have public comment input, and how hard would it be if the agenda, we usually have that like 24 hours in advance, is that something easy to add to our website, or is it a pain to add to the website?
I don't have anything to do with the website.
Okay, what is our process with that?
So,
We can talk to Catherine.
Catherine-
Kathy?
I think all she has to do somehow, she has to turn it into a PDF, which is no big deal, and she should be able to post it once we develop the agenda.
Okay,
And that's usually, like when I send it to you, we're talking 15 minutes before then, before.
Yep,
and
but
that's-
usually that's a
and
day or
it's-
so in
and it's a
advance.
draft, of course.
And yes, it is an absolute draft. Does Tim maintain our website? Or does he
He's
have-
the webmaster.
Okay, so she could pretty much send it over to him and he should be able to upload it?
No, she can upload it.
Okay,
I just don't know how to do any of that stuff.
that's fine. I would like to see if we could try and work towards getting the agenda posted. I think it is good public information for the, who knows, we might actually get people here to show up. So I think it's positive feedback to have on that and that we can try to work towards. I appreciate that. Okay, I think we're almost done.
Yeah.
See what else we can kick Paul out. See what
I
happens
don't
if
know.
Paul doesn't show.
Yeah, do we have anything we can nominate him to?
Oh, railroad him in?
Yeah, just,
No, that'd be nice.
Some committee somewhere that he has to serve on. No, we voted you in. All right, so we set our meeting dates.
We did.
Anything else to come before this board this evening?
No.
No?
You can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:29 PM.
I will second that.
Second that, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
We are adjourned at 6:29.
Thank you, guys.
Stop. All right, I'm not touching it now.